Hey everyone, today I'll be covering how to export maps from Substance Painter 2020 into V-Ray for Maya. This workflow is for V-Ray Next or version 4 and newer. Now, in my previous video, I go into detail on how to prepare your model for Substance Painter and how to set up similar light setups that have consistent look dev between the two softwares. This helps you verify that all your textures coming from Substance Painter look correct in V-Ray. Now, I highly recommend that you watch that video if you haven't already. So in this video, I'll focus on the workflow of going between Substance Painter and V-Ray for Maya. In the latest versions of Substance Painter and V-Ray, the key difference is the new Metallic and Roughness workflow. We don't have to use IOR and we don't have to use any unneeded settings anymore. And as always, as I continue to grow this channel and build content, a simple like and subscribe will be immensely helpful as we grow this community, guys. So anything is appreciated. So let's go. All right. So as you can see, here's the final output. So let's jump into Substance Painter. Now, here we are looking at Substance Painter. I'm not going to cover any material or texture creation. We're basically done and we're ready to export. So, if we wanted to take a look and do a test render with iRay, we certainly can. We can just go to the test render or the iRay render settings and look at it here. Save out a render using the render settings here, which I have on my other monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that and just continue on. So you definitely want to do a render just to compare between other render engines, because what you are looking at here in real time is the rasterized real-time version. Okay, so definitely compare with iRay. All right. So with that, let's go to File, Export Textures. Then the export texture windows and settings opens up. Now, as you can see, if we go to output templates here, you can see at the bottom, V-Ray Next Metallic Roughness. That is going to be the workflow that we're using. You can see that it has the base color roughness metallic. And if you have anything for height, emissive, transmissive, anisotropy, or anything like that, it'll also export that. Now, it is only going to export what we need. So we're not going to get all of the extra maps that is, that comes with the entire export. So what you want to do is just go to Output Template, hit the drop down, then go to V-Ray Next Metallic Roughness. Okay. Now, if you want to stick to the glossiness workflow, you certainly can. We'll just change one setting if you go that route. But for now, we're just going to do V-Ray Next Metallic Roughness. We're going to use PNG, 8 bits with dithering. And we're just going to keep all this default and make sure padding set to dilation infinite to reduce seams. So once we do that, I'll go ahead and export the maps. Now I am exporting these at 4K. So I'm going to go ahead and export, and it's going to take it just a little bit of time. So I'll go ahead and export and then pause the video. Okay, so the exporting is done. No issues here. So everything's looking good. We can go ahead and do open output directory, and it opened up on my other monitor. So I can drag that over here. Here you can see all of the maps that were exported. Now remember, it's based off the texture set. So we have a set here for head, and then we have a set here for body, and then a set here for base. Okay, I'm gonna move this back over and go ahead and close this out, since we're all done. So we are now done with Substance, so I can minimize this and we can actually just jump straight into Maya. So here we are now in Maya. So again, I have all of the lighting and everything set up in this scene. I'm not going to spend time setting that up. You can just take a look at my previous video. So let's just get right into plugging in these maps. So if I take a look here, and if I jump to my my V-Ray tab, or open up my V-Ray render settings, we can take a look at my V-Ray frame buffer. And this is essentially what we have. We just have this set up with clay materials. So I want to go ahead and open up my hypershade. And we can go ahead now and start bringing in these maps. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because I have 3 texture sets, let's just start with the head here actually. Okay. So with the head, I'm going to go ahead now and create a V-Ray material and select the head and assign this material. Okay, so you can see that it created a new material right here, V-Ray MTL6, so assign material to selection. Great. And I can select this material and I can call this, head material or head mat. Okay. Once we're happy with that, we can go ahead now and we can do output connection. So it's the only one that we have, and we can bring in all of the head textures here. Now, the head textures or the head does have an emissive material, so we'll go ahead and plug that in as well. But these are all the ones that I want to plug in, except I'm actually not going to bring in height for this one. I may do that in a later video where I show how to use height with displacement maps. But for now, we'll keep it simple and just use these sets here and just drag that right into Maya. Okay, there we go. So we drag that right into Maya and we can start taking a look at these materials and textures. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room here. Maybe move some things over. And here we go. And I wanna select my head mat. And just to be sure, if you have this in look dev view like this, it has kind of a simplified view. So if you wanna see what I'm seeing, you can do attribute editor view. So I'll go ahead and hit this icon right over here. So under diffuse color, let's find our diffuse map, which is going to be our base color. I'm simply going to middle mouse drag this node and just connect it and drop it over the word diffuse color. And you can see it goes ahead and connects it right in Maya. Great. So we're just going to make our way down the list here. And if we go down to BRDF and we want to do reflection glossiness, okay? Now, take a look at reflection glossiness, and what we actually want to do is change this from glossiness to roughness. So you can see here, use roughness. So go ahead and enable that, and you can see that it changes here. So as you can imagine, if you were using the specular glossiness workflow, you'd want to make sure to keep this disabled. But like I said, we're going to use the metallic roughness workflow. So let's just go ahead now and let's find our, make sure I keep that there. And we're going to find roughness right here. So we're going to middle mouse drag that over to reflection roughness. And then we're going to go to metalness here. And we're also going to give the metallic map here. Okay. And middle mouse drag that over to metalness. Perfect. We're just going to plug that right in. And then the last map, or second to last map we want to do is the normal map. So you can see here we have normal. And what we want to do here, again, is select the head map, change this map type to tangent space, normal map in tangent space, and then grab middle mouse drag and bring that over to map, okay? So the other thing that we need to do is make sure under reflection that we set our reflection color to white. Please be careful not to do that under refraction. I know sometimes people mix this up all the time, but you want to make sure that we're only working here in reflection, okay? So right now we have reflection color set to white, reflection roughness plugged in with the roughness map, and then metalness plugged in with the metalness map, and then we have tangent space, normal map and tangent space plugged in with our normal map, and then we can go here at the top and see our diffuse color. Now, in our case, we do have emissive. So the emissive, middle mouse drag that over here to self-illumination. Great. Now we have everything set up and everything's looking pretty good. And let's do a quick test, okay? Now, before we do a quick test, right, we have to make sure that we adjust our color spaces on our textures. So that means under metallic, you can see that it has color space sRGB. Go ahead and change that to raw, okay? Well, let me go ahead and show you what it looks like without it, just in case. So I go ahead and do a quick render. I'm just using progressive, so this should be pretty quick. And you can kind of see how it looks like right now. Everything's like a really shiny and glossy and doesn't look 100% correct, all right? That's because our color space on our maps are off. So again, go to metallic, grab color space. Let's switch this to raw. We're going to go to normal and switch this to raw. And we're going to go to roughness and switch that to raw. Okay, so anywhere you have emissive, base color, or like reflection color and not glossiness, you want to use sRGB. So just keep in mind base color and emissive, keep that sRGB. For metallic, normal, roughness, that all needs to be set to raw. Okay, so now if we go ahead and do that, let's take a look at our render, and there we go. Right? Whenever I was first, you first start out and do this, you plug in your maps, you're like, why isn't this looking right? This doesn't look anything like Substance. This is why. It always comes down to the color space, okay? So with that, we'll just kind of continue on. All I need to do is set this up for the other two materials. So I'm going to create a new V-Ray material, and I'm going to do, body matte. Okay, then I'm going to go to my folder. I'm going to grab base, all of them except height. We're going to drag that right in. Okay, just like this. Okay, and really what I'm going to do now is essentially just replicate everything that I just did 2 more times. So I will save you the back and forth of connecting these maps, and I'll just do a quick time lapse or just do a straight cut until I have all those connected. Okay, and here we are. Let's just do another render. I have everything plugged in on these 3 materials, so we can output connections, you can see, and all of my base color, sRGB, my metallic, raw, normal, raw, roughness, raw, color space. So again, all set, assigned to my map model here from the algorithmic from Substance. And there we are. Fantastic. So everything's looking really good. It's rendering out fine. And it looks exactly like it does in Substance Painter. So that's it, guys. So we were able to take our materials, our textures from Substance, bring them into Maya and connect and use V-Ray to render, and we're all set. So we are now using the new and improved V-Ray material, which has the metallic and roughness workflow. So very straightforward. The key thing, remember guys, is watch your color space. Make sure you set the appropriate maps to raw, and you'll pretty much be all set. And then you'll be able to achieve, basically one-to-one renders between Substance Painter, V-Ray, and any other software. All right. So as always, if you guys can go ahead and hit the like and subscribe at the bottom. Appreciate any comments or anything as this channel is continuing to grow. Appreciate all the effort, guys. Thank you and take care.